Hi everyone, Guy from Midwinter Minis here. In this video, I'm going to cover a few of the frequently asked questions I see in the comments on my videos, and after that, Penny and I will answer some of the questions that people posted on our YouTube community page. If you want to go straight to a specific question, I've made timestamps in the description and I've also pinned them in the comments. So let's get started. Here's the one I definitely get asked the most. What paintbrushes do you use? To be honest, I tend to experiment with brushes quite a lot, and I don't think that one particular brand is best for every given scenario, but the blue brushes I've been using in my speed painting Blackstone Fortress series are the gold Taklon range of brushes from Royal and Langnickel. Now, if you're new to brushes, all of those words probably mean nothing, so let me explain. Taklon is a man-made fibre that's used to make synthetic bristles for paintbrushes. Gold Taklon, I think, is just the name the company has given their range. Correct me if I'm wrong though. All of the brushes I've used in this range, and there are lots of sizes available, have been reliable and durable. They have a nice firm feel, they hold their shape well, they don't have overly long guide hairs, and the paint flows nicely from them. Now that's not the reason I bought them though. I bought them because they're really cheap. The sets I bought from the range, a home and garden chain in the UK, cost less than £1 per brush. And while they obviously aren't the same quality as premium paintbrushes, they're about 10 times less expensive, and are a great place to start if you're looking to get into miniature painting. You can easily find sets online on Amazon or eBay too, so if you don't have a local store that sells them, no problem. Now, one word of caution would be that, as these are essentially a budget product, there may be some variation in quality. But saying that, every single Royal and Langnickel gold Taklon brush I've used has been great, so I would certainly recommend them. On to the next question. Where can I find the music from your videos? So if you didn't already know, the music in my videos, at least the track you're hearing now, was created and recorded by me. Music is my other big passion, and working in that industry is actually my day job, so making music for my channel felt like a natural thing to do. A lot of people ask where they can hear it in full, or buy it, or download it, and that's something I'm working towards at the moment. Behind the scenes, I've actually teamed up with 3 other musicians I know to create some more tracks for the channel, but also with a view to releasing the music as a tabletop wargaming soundtrack album. If you've been watching my other videos, chances are you've heard the track Choir Giant made for this channel playing in the background too. Now, once everything is ready, we'll put out the album as a digital release, possibly also a physical release if people are interested. I feel like this would be a nice way for people to support the channel, and people currently tip us through PayPal, but by buying an album full of wargame background music, hopefully you'll feel like you also get something tangible in return for parting with your hard-earned money. We'll also look into different ad-supported streaming options as well. Now, various copyright problems that are happening at the moment, like the current issues YouTube are having with their strike system and Article 13 coming into effect, make it a bit of an awkward time to be doing this, but hopefully we shouldn't encounter too many problems. So the short answer to that question is, you can get it soon. I'm often asked, worded in various ways, a question that basically boils down to, how do I start painting models? Honestly, this is fairly simple. Aside from the obvious things like getting hold of a small paintbrush or two and a few basic paints, the most important thing would really be to choose the models or the model that you want to start with quite carefully. You want to choose something you can learn the core techniques with. Base coating, dry brushing, washes, all the basic steps you'll see in my speed painting tutorials. If Warhammer 40,000 is your thing, choosing something like a squad of Space Marines or Imperial Guard, or simple alien units like Termagants or Necrons, are a great way of starting out. Their popular colour schemes only really have 2 or 3 main colours, and you can build up from there when you feel more confident with your painting. By going for a really detailed character, a squad of intricate models like Dark Eldar, or a big vehicle, you'll probably find you're biting off more than you can chew, and you'll have a bad first experience. So that would be my main advice for starting out. Go for an easy set of models to start with, even if you don't want that to be your main army later on, just to get some experience. So that was 3 of the most frequently asked questions I've seen in the comments recently, but I also reached out to my subscribers on my YouTube community page to see if they had any interesting questions they'd like us to answer. So Penny joins me for the next part of the video where we answered all the questions that we could, but this certainly isn't scripted. It's just a casual conversation we recorded, so there might be a couple of accidental naughty words. We were enjoying a cheeky bottle of wine, or maybe 2 cheeky bottles of wine, but I hope you find some of the answers useful, or at least a little bit funny. So now some of the frequently asked questions are out of the way, we're going to answer some of the direct questions that were posted on our little community page. So, first question, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Joel Davison, you are my new best friend.
Well, there are obviously 2 answers. The first correct answer is African or European.
That's not an answer, that's just more questions.
Yeah, I know, but it results in... I think the actual answer to that question is about 20 meters a second. I think somebody figured it out by calculating their migratory routes.
and then to compare, they tied a small bag of baggage onto one of them to make sure that the unladen speed was accurate.
How and when did both of you get into the hobby? I got into the hobby, I think, on around Christmas in 1994. I think Christmas 1994.
When I was born.
Shut up. No, you've made me feel bad. I remember one of my friends had a Space Marine that I think he got in White Dwarf, and I just thought it was like the coolest little thing ever. And I remember really quite vividly asking my grandparents for a box of Space Marines, and I got it for Christmas, and I thought it was, the coolest thing ever. And I glued them all together, and I painted them really badly, and I had a great time. And then I think for my birthday, which is quite soon after that, I really furiously was asking my parents. And I think my dad relented, and he got me the 2nd edition starter set with the little monopose orcs and Space Marines, which I absolutely still love, and I still have the models.
That is an adorable story.
The orcs make up a significant part of my current orcs army. So, yeah, that's how I got started in the hobby, certainly. Penny's not really into the hobby in the same way, but she does modeling. She's done, haven't you?
I don't play the game. I find it too stressful. My role is more sort of creative advisor to Guy, and moral support when he loses, which is most of the time.
Thanks. I think you're selling yourself short though, because you're a really, really good painter, and you painted some really nice Airfix models, and your towel looked really, really nice before we sold them.
Warhammer is just too small. Oh my god, give me a 2-inch brush and a door. That's much more fun. Do you know what I mean? I don't want... It gives me eye strain.
Yeah, I do all the modelling, but Penny does all the DIY. It's not even a joke. Okay, next question. Do you promise to keep being awesome and doing your damnedest to provide great quality videos on Blackstone Fortress, its future expansions, and beyond?
No.
No. Yes, I think that was the obvious answer to that. I really like playing the game.
And painting.
Yeah, and painting the models as well. I think is it's a really, really good all-in-one little thing. So I'm well into Blackstone Fortress, and I'm gonna be getting the expansions and painting them personally. So I might as well make the videos so you guys can enjoy it as well.
Probably other things as well.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, it's not just a Blackstone Fortress
branching
channel.
out,
I think there's more questions on that soon, don't you worry.
Sorry, I'm spoilers.
Are you going to paint the Ratling Twins? You and Penny paint one each and then compare.
I would paint one, but I can't promise it'll be any good, and I can't promise that I wouldn't have a tantrum.
I think people would probably like it if you did have a tantrum, to be fair. Probably be our most popular video.
Oh, God.
So that, I don't know, that's a strong maybe.
Can you have such a thing?
Yeah.
That's a very strong maybe.
It's a very strong maybe. Okay, other question.
Besides the Wiggly Boys, right, I've made a thing. That's my thing. What was a model that you hated painting? They were pretty awful, weren't they? They were horrible.
Yeah. Trying to think of actually what I really don't like painting.
The repetitive ones, like maybe when you do all those little, what are those teeny little dudes with the pointy hats?
Gretchin.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I've got like 70... No, actually, I think I've got 90 Gretchin.
90?
Yeah. No, this is my secret box of shame that you're not allowed to see. I've got 90 Gretchin, and they're certainly not all painted, but the ones I have painted are just so monotonous because they're monopose figures, obviously, and actually, they're quite cool little models, and they're very easy to paint, but the monotony of just doing it again and again kind of grinds you down and makes you a little bit insane, even when you can bash them out in only like 5-10 minutes a model. It still grinds you down. Yeah, so maybe 2nd edition Gretchin is a strong contender for that. Apart from that, I can't really think of anything that's really like I dislike painting. I'll give most things a go. I hope that's answered your question.
Badly?
Yeah. What are some
Third time lucky guy.
Sorry, I'm making a lot of mistakes. We're both drinking, so yes. What are some upcoming projects that you have to...
I'm going to read it.
Okay.
I'm going to read it.
Thank you.
What are some upcoming projects you have to paint for us? How about the Shadowspear box? You both rock.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in the Shadowspear box. Not so much the Marine side of it. I'm not really into the Primaris Marines. I feel like they've kind of jumped the shark on Space Marines, to be honest. But there's lots of projects obviously coming up that I'm currently working on. We've got some cool little DIY terrain stuff. We've got more videos on general hints and tips, as well as I'm going to be showing you how to speed paint a couple of different factions. I know Games Workshop have started doing more of those battle ready videos, suspiciously since I've started doing my own speed painting series. And I got in touch with them and I was like, hey guys, you want to work together? And they totally blackballed me. So they're just like, oh, we can do it ourselves, don't worry. One thing I quite like to do actually is maybe do like a 10-minute Marine series where I'd like try a few different recipes to show you how to paint a Space Marine in 10 minutes. So if you're trying to do an army, you can actually just like get them on the table really fast. Really, really fast.
Is that including drying time?
No, like hands-on painting time. Also, I've been playing with the idea with my friend Ant of doing very small battle reports, but not really battles in the sort of traditional sense, but more one-on-one things of units that are typically set against each other or comparable, which might be quite interesting. And we've tried a couple of dry runs. We had a few technical errors, so those episodes are sort of lost, unfortunately. But I think that could be pretty interesting because the results were pretty hilarious, actually, in both times. Yeah, that's something to look out for as well, I think.
Does Penny only help you with her voice, or is she also into the hobby and like to play? I don't really like to play, but I get involved in Guy's creative endeavours, don't I? I help with the colours, because sometimes I think, obviously, a bit colourblind, sometimes that can be a bit tricky, so I'm always there to suggest things and also to say that stuff looks crap, you know.
Or that my terrain is pink.
I was being nice and not mentioning that time, but he was painting this little rocky wall, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting colour scheme. Like, oh my! I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be pink, and he did not know that it was pink. So I am there to.
I just thought I'd chosen like an off-white as a final dry brush colour, and it was just almost hot pink.
No, it's baby pink. It's baby pink.
Okay,
yeah.
Baby pink.
It's very cute, but I'm not sure it was what you were going for.
You don't really play though.
I do not play. I get too grumpy and I get too attached to my little people, and if someone shoots my little people, I'll get really sad.
We did play quite a lot of Necromunda for a while, but you got really annoyed when anyone died.
That little kid with the cricket bat, he only had like one leg and 3 fingers by the end of it. I can't deal with that.
Do you have a fully painted 40k army? And if you do, could you show it on video? I think I'm maybe ashamed to say I don't have a fully painted 40k army. I mean, in some degree, I have a fully painted 40k army if you're only playing like 1,000 points. I've easily got 1,000 points of painted orcs. But, you know, for my 2,000 point games and the things I like to play, generally the stuff I play changes, and I try and like alternate a lot. I think I probably have about 5,000 or 6,000 points of orcs tucked away here and there.
Tucked away my proverbial rear end.
Proverbial. Truthfully, one of the reasons I started this channel and started doing the speed painting is that I actually wanted to paint my own stuff to get it done. So I was like, hey, I finally got some painted stuff. So, but when I do have some fully painted armies, I'll definitely show you all, because that would be pretty cool. Do you love the warm, comforting embrace of myself, the great-grandfather? From Grandpappy Nurgle. Why, Grandpappy Nurgle, I certainly do love your loving embrace.
Hold me.
As most people who watch this channel well know, Penny came along to help me out when I pretty much totally lost my voice when I had a chest infection. And also in the last week, I've had really horrific stomach flu that's like, absolutely floored me. So, yes.
Guy,
yes.
I don't think the public needs to know about your diseases.
It's too late now.
Who calls it stomach flu?
If you're trying to be polite, it's better than the squits.
You say tummy bug.
Tummy bug.
Stomach flu.
Anyway, what is your favourite model from the Blackstone Fortress set, and what is Penny's favourite, and why?
I like the little robot man.
You are 025.
Yeah, he's well cute.
He is pretty cool, huh?
He's like a little retro dude. Yeah, he's my fave. Although, we just did the What's Her Face? Pious Fawn video, and she's pretty badass.
She's got a flamethrower that's also a chainsword.
And she hasn't got like ridiculous
boobs
armor everywhere. Like that is such it's just so unrealistic. You would never go into battle like that. It just wouldn't. Oh, God's sake.
Because if you got hit by something,
it would deflect it further into you.
It would like puncture your chest with the part where it goes in. So anyway, that was quite a tangent away from the question. My favourite Blackstone Fortress model is, I reckon, the spindle drones. I just think the spindle drones look really cool. Awesome design. I'm really, really impressed by them. They're so fiddly and little spindly things, obviously, hence the name. But,
they're very stylish.
Yeah, I think they look cool as. Will we ever see Penny painting a model on the channel?
Potentially, if there is enough wine involved.
So, drunk painting Penny confirmed.
Just because maybe I should try one of the speed painting things, because I think my problem has been that I put too much effort into these, and then I get a headache and I feel sick. And
how long have you been painting minis?
You had a hiatus for many years.
I had a hiatus for about 15 years, yeah. From the age of 9 to like...
As long as I've been alive.
Shut up. Shut up. So yeah, 24 years in length, but actually of only active painting time 10?
Mine was 15, yeah.
10-ish, maybe. But a lot of my sort of first couple of years doing it again was just sort of relearning the motor skills and the stuff. The techniques you don't really forget, but it's just the practice of actually painting fine lines and feathering stuff out and things is tricky to sort of get the hang of again. But yeah, I got there, so hey.
And here we are.
Here we are indeed. Will you be doing a painting tutorial on the Kill Team Rogue Trader box set? Yeah, I mean, I have it now, which is cool. Thanks again to people's donations, which always amaze me. And
I've also heard that having the box set helps.
Yeah, I can paint invisible models. I'm so good. Yeah, I mean, apparently there's a kind of a lack of kind of easy to follow painting tutorials, especially for some of the more niche models in the set. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in doing that, as well as the terrain, because the kind of bulkheads and the things inside look pretty cool too. So a big fat yes on that one. So we'll just wait and see when that happens. Which one hypnotized the other into liking the hobby?
Well, definitely your fault, isn't it? Now our house is so full of it can't really escape.
It's not even full in one room.
You have an entire room full.
I'm a famous YouTuber. 30 seconds remaining asks, thank you for all the mini tutorials. How did you start painting minis? I've kind of covered that, but a little story I will tell you is that where I grew up, there was this tiny little shop, which was the only little toy shop that sold any Games Workshop stuff where I lived. And it was run by this little old woman, and she was amazing. And every time a new paint or something had come in, she'd be like, "Oh, try this one out. It looks lovely." I remember that was the only reason I bought amethyst purple and tin bits and stuff. And I was like, "Oh my God, metallic purple, yes." Yeah, it's cute. Aww. So that was between the ages of 9 and 14, 15, I suppose, was when I sort of learnt how to paint. But the thing is that, obviously there wasn't the internet in the same way there was now. There wasn't YouTube, there wasn't anything like that. So painting tutorials were from people who could paint, which were people older than me, basically. We had a little Warhammer thing at my school. There wasn't a Games Workshop where I lived, so I couldn't get any tutorials from people who actually did it professionally. So it was really just looking at White Dwarf, which kind of shows how important the magazine used to be. Obviously now it's more of a sort of compendium, like a selling point, I suppose, for the brand. But back in the day, that was one of the only ways you could actually learn to paint.
A question from Graham. Honestly, how many things did you put on the turntable just to giggle at them? Also, I loved your Guyver reference on the Ample video. Well done. 10 nerd points.
See, I told you people would like the Guyver reference. I am not some lonely loser who has niche interests. That much. Anyway, so basically when we got the turntable, we just put loads of things on it. We put a garlic clove on it straight away.
A whole bulb.
Oh, yeah.
But that was before we even realised that you peeled the thing off and it was a mirror.
A glorious moment where
my God.
we put a garlic bulb on it and we were like, "Oh, this looks cool."
It spins, woohoo!
And then you were like, "Oh, is that a film you can peel off?" It's like, "Oh my God." And there was a mirror underneath.
Oh, Jesus. It just kept getting better.
Life-changing.
But several items.
Have you ever had a colour scheme that you thought would work, but when you finished it looked terrible? If so, what was it and can we see it? I feel like actually my first army that I started painting when I got back into the hobby a few years ago really was not the best choice, which was Imperial Guard, which I painted like a khaki colour, sort of desert khaki, with red and gold as the accent colours. And I don't know, I think I painted the helmets red and the boots red and the shoulder pads gold. I don't know, I just really didn't feel that the end result was that great. I'm not sure if I have any photos of them because I eBayed them, but if I find those photos somewhere, you'll probably be seeing them on screen right now, so you can make it up for yourself. But I remember I posted Imgur gallery to kind of advertise them slightly, and someone was like, the Ketchup Mustard Brigade, that was it. I was like,
so cruel,
so mean.
I thought they looked fine.
Yeah,
they're probably just a bit boring to paint.
Yeah,
weren't they?
Actually, because I kind of did them with sandy bases as well, so they were maybe just a bit too much like khaki sand color.
But realistic army colors.
That's exactly what I thought.
All this bullshit flame thingies and like boobs out and green capes. It's not very good camouflage, is it?
Could you do a speed painting guide for Ultramarines? Yes and no. Midwinter Minis could do it, but I probably wouldn't. I'm not really an Ultramarines kind of person, so I wouldn't, paint my personal models that way. But my good friend Ant has fabulously painted Ultramarines, and he's been working on a much faster method of painting his Ultramarines up. So we've been chatting about maybe doing some videos where he's painting and I'm filming and whatever, and he can do the explanations. So yes, I think that will probably happen in the future, so stay tuned. Please do Sisters of Battle, Forbidden Fortress and Rogue Trader next. Okay. Yeah, done. We've got so many videos planned, so we are actually considering everything at the moment. So if you've got any kind of the more times we see someone ask for something, it's basically the guide we use to whether or not we think something is worthwhile doing. So if you want to see something, just don't shut up about it. What 40k factions do you like to paint the most and why? Orcs.
Yeah, come on.
Orcs.
They're the only ones that you can use colours.
Orcs, I just think they're really, really fun to paint. Once you get this, your personal skin recipe down, really that's all you need to do, because the armor is it can be so kind of like messy, or it can be so vibrant or colorful. It can be whatever you want it to be, really. So if you want to learn how to paint orcs, learn how to paint their skin, and then nothing else matters, really. You can basically just paint them all rusty and dry brush them, or you can like have them with crazy, red and black armor, or whatever you want. It's, there's no limits, really. And I don't think anyone is going to stop you and go like, that's not an official, orc faction, because it really, really doesn't matter. So yeah, orcs, 100% orcs. That is my answer for that question.
That was a very good answer, Guy, but I do sort of wish you hadn't said your personal skin recipe.
When will there be orc videos? My wah is currently grey, and my opponents are bullying me for it. Well, Ben, you should A, punch your opponents for bullying you, because that's not nice. And also, there will be orc videos, my friend, because
you've got so many
I've got
of
so
them.
many that I need to paint. So that's a nice, impetus for me to actually do it. So yeah, soon.
For someone new, would you recommend speed painting to get the mojo flowing, or to take care of details and take big time on prepping a single model?
Speed painting, 100%. Not necessarily speed painting, but just like really, start to get the paint on, paint up some models, paint up a whole squad, and be like, cool, I've done that, amazing. Paint up another squad and another squad. And by the time you kind of painted up the third squad, you'll look back at your first and be like, I could totally improve that a little bit, so I'm going to do that. And you'll know exactly what to do, because you'll have kind of refined your techniques as you go. If you spend, hours and hours and hours and hours, days even, on one particular model, even if it's like not an HQ, if it's just like a regular troop,
I feel like you'd still 3 troops later go back to it and be like,
100%.
Look at all the things I could do
100%.
to it. Yeah.
And I think realistically, you'll probably, I know this might sound a bit philosophical, but you'll be more content with yourself, and you'll be happier with where you are in the hobby if you have lots of painted miniatures to a level that you're happy with, rather than like a handful, not even a full squad of miniatures that you're really proud of, but you can't actually, play a painted game. I think that really affects how you feel about the hobby, and probably actually, makes you more likely to give up, if anything. If your friends are like, hey, do you want to like play a game? And you're like, yeah, I do, but I've only got an HQ painted in 3 models, and everything else is plastic. So yeah, speed painting. When will you do a monopose Gretchin video? I just bought about 40 more of the gits. Well, yeah, I do have a lot of those 2nd edition monopose Gretchin as well, and I've kind of like come up with my own little recipe for painting them quickly, so maybe I'll do a video sort of sharing that process, so maybe some other people can get a bit of inspiration from that so they can start their own. So yeah, that will happen, I'm sure. Otherwise, these guys are just going to sit in this drawer forever and rot. Would you have any interest in painting the terrain for Kill Team Rogue Trader or Kill Team Arena? Yes, and yes. I love painting terrain. I just find it really quite easy and cathartic. You can just slap on the paint, try out some new things that you haven't tried before, see if they work, and if they don't, you can go to your old tried and true stuff. So yes, 100% I will do those. I have the box sets, so I'm ready to go. I just need the time, so stay tuned. Brambles or blackberries?
Blackberries for the little berry thing that you eat, and then brambles for the plant that stabs you.
Foliage or fruit? Brambles.
Foliage or fruit? Foliage, brambles, fruit, blackberries.
Have you given any more thought to paint the Kill Team Rogue Trader figures?
Popular!
I get the feeling people are trying to make me paint Kill Team Rogue Trader. If you and Penny run out of heroes to paint, maybe record a game of Blackstone Fortress and upload it. I don't think that's going to happen, because Penny doesn't really play the games.
You're so polite. I do not play the games because I cry.
She really doesn't like losing.
No, I don't like it when my little people die.
I think if she played UR025 and he died, I think she would just not talk for about a week.
Certainly not to you.
Oh, yeah, it's just not worth it, guys. Sorry, she's not going to play any games. But we may, as I said in answer to a previous question, we may record some sort of games or something resembling games in the near future. So there's that to look forward to, I suppose. What got you into making Warhammer painting tutorials?
Good question.
Yeah, that is quite a good question. I think I was actually just dissatisfied with the tutorials that there were. There are obviously some incredibly good channels around, but there's only, well, in my opinion, there's only a dozen of really, really high quality. One of the things I find and I have a problem with is I have a very long attention span for doing, my job and for doing, creative things. But for watching things and like being informed, I have no attention span. I really wanted quick, understandable information, well framed, stuff in focus, and easy to follow. So I thought, hey, I've got experience of actually like filming and editing and blah, 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 blah. So I can give it a shot. I'm sure I can come up with something. And I think people obviously like that format. I try to keep things in my painting videos anyway, very scripted and to the point. There's no kind of rambling or, garbage in between.
There is a little bit from me.
Yeah, but not from me. I'm very professional. But not like this video. This is just informal chat, like you're here with us and we're answering your questions. What is your most memorable battle?
The Battle of Hastings in 1066 was my personal favourite. Waterloo is a close second, but Trafalgar takes the biscuit.
I think our most memorable battle that we actually had together when you still played games before the sad times.
No, that was always sad times. You just made me do it anyway.
Anyway, that sounds a bit horrible.
As the tears were flowing, he was like, Penny, it's your turn to roll.
There was that amazing game of Necromunda we had where it was your guy that fell off the tower.
Oh, Jesus.
He had like 6 injuries, but he didn't die.
Yeah, but he couldn't walk got no fingers left. Like one
he had
leg.
2 fingers on his hand. And he was like deranged, and before he started every game he'd have to roll to see if he'd like attack his own people or something ridiculous.
Snotbag or whatever his name is.
So that was probably our most memorable game of old Necromunda, not the new Necromunda. We haven't, that's, the rules of that are just, it's not the same game, unfortunately. I really wanted it to be, but it's not. My personal most memorable battle is not memorable because it was fun or that I won. It's because I was playing someone who was really, really competitive, and they were playing Blood Angels. They played like an absolute Death Star surrounding Dante with like sanguinary guard. And this is like back in the day of armor facings on the vehicles in 7th edition. And he just like deep struck along the very edge of the table behind me and took out like 3 Lehman Russes in one turn. And I was like, wow, that was a fun game.
I'm going to bed now.
Yeah. And it was like 2 hours of setting the game up, and I was like lost in turn 1. I was like, super, all right.
You need to get better.
Yeah, well, I learned. Anyway, but that was memorable because I didn't rage quit, but it was certainly not an enjoyable game.
You didn't have much choice, did you?
No.
The rage quit was forced upon you.
That's it. So that's it for the community questions. Thank you so much for posting them. And again, thank you so much to the 10,000 subscribers on the channel. It's kind of mind-boggling, really. Thank you all so much. If you're watching this bizarrely and you're not subscribed, what's wrong with you? You should definitely subscribe. And
that's the way to do it. If you're not subscribed, there must be something wrong with you. That's good,
you're
guy.
Deranged. Yeah, like the video as well. Smash that like button. And
smashed him guinea pigs.
Smashed him guinea pigs. Oh my god. I don't know if I can link to other channels' videos on my own channel, but if I can't, you all need to check out the chin review. Honestly, it's like one of the things that no matter how many times I see it, it still makes me cackle every time. The chin review. And although one of the guys definitely sounds like me, it's not me. I really promise it's not me. I'm not just saying that.
I wish it was him, because that would be so famous. Like, I'm funny, but it's not.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and we all hope you have a wonderful life. Bye for now.
Bye. We are not handcuffed together, Julian.
I spend my time alone getting wrecked and practicing magic.